We've got a confirmed report now of how many airstrikes the US carried out in 2025. The US carried out at least 600 airstrikes onto at least 8 countries, possibly 9, during Trump's first year in office. And so, here's all of the countries he bombed in order. Well, back in February, we got the first reports of the US bombing Somalia. At the time, the US announced the first strikes onto Somalia, but they've been doing it ever since. They haven't stopped. I actually think about 300 of those 600 airstrikes are just on Somalia. But these strikes were and still are against ISIS in Somalia, along with Al-Shabaab and some other terrorist groups. According to reports, though, they are working with the Somalian government to make sure that no civilians are hit in the strikes. And according to reports, it does seem like that's true. Civilians are not being affected in these attacks. Although, just a month after those attacks started, the US bombed Iraq for the first time, and they killed the second highest in command of ISIS. Iraq called the man, quote, one of the most dangerous terrorists in the world. And then, in the same week, the US also started their war on the Houthis in Yemen. That lasted from about mid-March to early May, so about 6 weeks or so, but it cost about $10 billion because of how much damage the Houthis caused to the US. Then, in the next month, the US bombed Iran. Everyone knows about this one. It was to do with Israel's 12-day war on Iran, and the US kind of concluded it with their strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. I will say Israel is now trying to get the US to bomb Iran again, saying that those US strikes actually didn't work. After June, though, the more recent strikes that everyone knows about started. The US started bombing Venezuelan boats and Colombian boats. They accused them of carrying drugs into the US. As well as that, the US also bombed Venezuela and kidnapped the president just weeks ago. Between then, though, the US also bombed Syria and Nigeria, both times targeting ISIS. So in total, the US bombed at least 8 countries, but possibly 9 if you include Colombian boats as Colombia. It seems it's going to continue. The US has threatened Mexico, Colombia officially, Cuba, Greenland, and all of this is to come in the next year, which is why you should leave me a follow for the global news that you just won't find anywhere else.